it's a personal thing.
Yes.
Each person has their own story of where they are grounded, where they are in their walk and faith. Because people have faith at different level.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was, I never was told by the Holy Spirit of God, I never was told to move. So I stayed. I knew that we were going to get water. Okay, I knew that. But I didn't have any fear because I truly believe that if my life was in danger as such, I would have been led by the Spirit to move. And I wasn't. I think that helped me because I felt secure in that, I was not overcome by fear. As the water came, we had decided to stay, so we knew it would have gotten, if it had gotten as bad as everybody was saying, and category 5, which we've never had experienced before, we knew it would have gotten to a point where we would not be able to leave. We knew that, if it had gotten to that point. But like my husband said, we never had water before. And even if we've gotten some, we never imagined we've gotten that high. Because we have stayed here doing category 4, and we didn't get any water in our house at all. And even though, they said to get it into the central part of the island. But because we knew we never got water before, and we knew the structure of our house because we built it ourselves, and we know that a lot of the shelters and storms were always compromised anyway. So we chose to stay where we knew was solid. But it got to the point where you realize that you cannot leave. There's nothing you can do to save yourself. Because we know that once water's in our house, we know from past experience that it's at least 2 or 3 times high outside, especially at the entrance getting out. And where we are surrounded by water. There's only one street to get to this house. Okay, so if you cut that off, we'll be on an island. We'll be on an island by ourselves. So we knew when water got in our house and was at that high, there was no way we can get out. And because of the weather, with the pressure and the wind and everything, we knew no one would get in to save us. So that's when your faith kicks in. You have to have that faith that the God that you serve and who has been with you all along and he never tell you to move, you have to believe that he will deliver you from the storm and that you're safe. And so we for me, and I think both my husband and son, we got to that point because no one seemed to have that, because you can always tell when someone has fear in them. They start thinking irrational and they start making stupid choices and decisions and they start to panic. Nobody panicked. We had some situations where we had to deal with it on our feet. We couldn't afford to allow fear to get in, because upstairs the first thing happened was our bedroom door flew off. Okay? And that started letting more air and stuff into the house, and we had to come up with a way to block that off. The first thing we came up with was my daughter's room. She has a bed. We took the box spring. She has a 2 twin bed in there, so we fit that in the door, and we try but that didn't last too long. Then we took her door off her bedroom, and my husband, like, see the size of my son, he held the door in place, because now, and he's holding it against the pressure and stuff coming from the hurricane, because the door is on the side, and the wind and the hurricane is coming from that side, so you have that major force of 200 miles an hour wind that he had to stanch the door, the door against the opening, while my husband nailed it in place. We didn't have any nail, we didn't have any hammer. What we found, so what we did, some of the wood and stuff that was dropping off the roof and stuff, we took that, he took the nails, all of that. And he said, did you find a hammer?
See, we got a hammer.
And then I think we were running out of nails, so he had to use screws.
Yeah,
And there's like sparks everywhere while he was moving the door. I'm trying not to get hit while I'm moving the door against the wind. So,
yeah. And then that didn't last very long. That blew off. And at this point, the roof of the bedroom is starting to come off. So we have to think quickly. We need to pressurize the room. We need to, because we have all this wind coming in and it's affecting the roof. The roof is going up. Luckily, we have manholes in each of the bedrooms. So we allow that to be open so that you have a circulation of the air instead of the pressure building up inside. Because as the pressure build up inside, the roof starts to lift. With all that.
Are you an engineer by trade? You have the wherewithal to think through all of that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I know that could not have been, in the mix, because the way we had to think in order to survive. And then of course all this time the water's rising, and we noticed that it was like 3 steps away from the second floor where we were. So my son decided he was going to Google and see, because it's king tide. I didn't even know king tide existed. So the water's again higher than normal. So what he did, he Googled and he saw what time the tide would be at its highest. So you average how long it's going to stay at its highest. So we said, okay, we're gonna watch it for about a few hours and see what happens, right? Before we settle in for the night. Now at this point we all in my daughter's room with no doors. The window is literally off. So that's where we settle down for the night. So the first hour, of course, you know how women are. I'm awake, so I'm like, I woke him up, go check. He went and check. He said, that's the same. So he went back. We in bed. So we went back to bed. So then the next hour, I'm like, Kenneth, Alan, nobody's answering. I get up, I check. I said, it's still the same. So I went in the room and I went to sleep. We just slept through the rest of it. You get, because it was so long, you get to the point where you think you're tired, but it's so noisy. Because at this point, we had 3 vehicles in the yard. Well, one was in the garage, which is banging against the wall. We had a Mercedes right here banging against this wall, and there was a hole in the ground. And then we had a truck out there taking the wall down, and we have these 9 feet of waves in our house that's going plush, 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 and you can hear everything just cracking, and it sounds like everyone will tell you there's like a freight train just passing through. And every time the waves hit the walls, the whole house vibrates. So, at some point you start thinking, is this house, strong enough to take this? And for how long is this going to last? And so you get to the point where you're so exhausted, you fall asleep anyway, even though you think you're not going to sleep because it's so noisy. But if you're laying down, you're going to, well, for us, we just slept after a while. We just didn't worry about it anymore.
Wow.
Of course, I had my daughter in Nassau, and she's panicking. She keeps calling. Got to the point, I said, Alexandra, don't you call me again.
Unless you have emergency.
And a few, was it a few weeks after that, she had a graduation. Well, she's a lawyer. She was called to the bar on Friday of this week. Last week. But she had just graduated from finishing school. And so we went over to her graduation in September, the 29th day. So we got to the airport, and she's inspecting us. She goes, "You sure you're okay?" And after about the 5th time, we're driving home, and she said, "Mom, you sure you guys are okay?" I said, "Alexandria, stop." I said, "Actually, we're better than you are." She goes, "What?" I said, "We went through Hurricane Dorian, and we survived." I said, "That made us stronger and more grounded than you are right now." I said, "You haven't gone through your storm yet. We already went through ours." And we're still here to tell the story.